New York, Madison Square Garden.
In 1949, the NBA was born, and suddenly, basketball had a stage like never before.
Edwards gets it back! And threw it down!
Morant spins and hits again! Holy cow!
It's Lillard! He got the shot off! Lillard got it! Good! And the Blazers win the series!
Phoenix has the foul! And a pinnacle ball throws it down!
Wade from behind takes it away. Chalmers! Oh! Damn!
Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh!
Final seconds. Bryant for the win.
It became a showcase for freakishly talented athletes with insane skills. Speed, power, precision, you name it, they had it. And leading the charge into stardom was Michael Jordan, a name that was so big it became synonymous with greatness. Then came the next wave, with Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant dominating for the Lakers, paving the way for the modern-day king, LeBron James. The NBA wasn't just about American fans either, it took over the world. And a big reason for that was the legendary 1992 Dream Team. They were unstoppable, a basketball masterpiece that redefined what greatness was like. The U.S. Olympic dominance that they sparked hadn't slowed down, but let's not act like it was all smooth sailing. The NBA has had its share of controversies and scandals that are so wild you'd think they came straight out of a soap opera.
In the end, that's what this comes down to. The protests are definitely legitimate and profound. We get all of that. We can't ignore it. Pay attention to it. But what's the end game?
Have to do something to make a change, or else no one's going to want to watch.
I hate it. It's straight bullshit.
What the NBA is becoming, it's just a viral clip that you'll see the next day.
See, as the NBA's popularity exploded, so did the wallets of their team owners. John Sally once talked about how NBA games used to be for the everyday fan, blue-collar workers who lived for their teams. And then fast forward to the 2000s, and suddenly, tickets were a luxury. By then, the average ticket price hit $51. But when you factor in parking, food, drinks, it could easily cost over $70 a person. Following a team for a full season, that's a serious dent in your wallet. And by 2021, ticket prices were on another planet. Take the Golden State Warriors. Their cheapest seats were $75, and if you want to sit lower, $175 at least. Courtside, you better have at least $695 to $1,200 even lying around. But fans kept coming, and the league kept cashing in. The NBA wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. In 2018, it raked in a record $8 billion. The average team worth $1.9 billion. And the players? Well, they were living the dream. The average salary hit $7.8 million and a median of $3.5 million. Even during the pandemic, when sports leagues were struggling, Adam Silver predicted the NBA would still bring in $10 million for the 21-2022 season. But for all its glory, the NBA has had some dark moments too, and Donald Sterling's scandal is one of the worst.
Real estate mogul and LA Clippers owner Donald Sterling. A racist rant caught on tape by an alleged former mistress got him banned for life from the NBA today.
The former LA Clippers owner bought the team for $12.5 million in 1981, but his reign ended in disgrace in 2014. A leaked recording revealing Sterling making pretty disgusting racist remarks, even telling his girlfriend not to bring black people to games. I mean, he specifically targeted Magic Johnson, a living legend, in his comments.
Magic Johnson, apparently targeted by Sterling for this photo with Sterling's girlfriend, like the audio posted by TMZ Sports, said he'll never again attend a Clippers game under Sterling.
He shouldn't own a team anymore. And he should stand up and say, I don't want to own a team anymore.
Message to the mother that own the Clippers.
Rapper turned actor Snoop Dogg.
You, your mama, and everything connected to you, you racist piece of you.
The backlash was swift and brutal. The NBA banned Sterling for life and slapped him with a $2.5 million fine and forced him to sell the team. He fought it at first, but eventually he sold the Clippers to Steve Ballmer, the former CEO of Microsoft, for $2 billion. And when you follow the money in the NBA, even the Air Jordan legacy reveals some troubling truths. See, when Michael Jordan entered the NBA in 1984, he got an amazing shoe deal right away. He turned down Converse, the official NBA sneaker at the time, and Adidas couldn't make a shoe that fit him, so he signed with Nike. Marie Claire, in their recap of The Last Dance, said that Nike expected to sell $3 million worth of Air Jordans in the first 4 years, but they sold a whopping $126 million in the first year. That's insane. The first Air Jordan shoes came out in 1985, but then a decade later, Nike got into some serious trouble. News came out that they were using sweatshops in Indonesia to make their shoes, and they were even using child labor. When reporters asked Jordan about it, he said, "Hey, that's Nike's decision. I'm just trying to do my job." He basically said, "Hey, it ain't my problem." Now, even though he was a superstar, Jordan did have some questionable hobbies. He loved to play golf, and he and his friend Richard Esquinas used to gamble a lot, like $1,000 a hole. In Esquinas' book, he claimed that Jordan owed him $1.2 million, but only ever paid him $200,000.
Do you have a gambling problem?
No, I enjoy it. It's a hobby. If I had a problem, I'd be starving. I'd be hawking this watch. My championship rings, I would sell my house. I would do this. My wife had left me.
Oh my. But here's the thing, gambling in sports doesn't always have to stay a fun little side hustle. Sometimes it can go way off the rails and dive headfirst into scandal territory. Think back to the infamous Chicago White Sox scandal, where players literally threw the World Series for a payday. That's wild, right? Now fast forward to 2007, and boom, another sports bombshell drops.
When the news hit that referee Tim Donaghy had admitted that he had illegally bet on games he himself had officiated.
This time, it's the NBA in the hot seat, and the main character, referee Tim Donaghy. The allegations? Oh, he was just fixing games to line his own pockets, and his buddies through some very strategic betting. The New York Times laid it all out. Donaghy was allegedly making questionable calls at critical moments to tilt the game in a direction that would help his bets pay off. But here's where it gets even juicier. It wasn't even greed that drove him. Rumor had it the mob was pulling the strings, pressuring Donaghy to make those shady calls. The New York Post reported that Donaghy was involved in fixing at least 10 games with the help of some mobsters. One source even called his associates dangerous people. Now, this was the first time that the NBA had to deal with a game-fixing scandal, and the FBI even got involved. The NBA commissioner said Donaghy was acting alone, and Donaghy admitted to betting on games that he officiated, but he never actually admitted to fixing the games on purpose. The FBI came to the same conclusion. Later, ESPN did a lot of checking and found that Donaghy's bets actually did benefit him. In the end, he resigned from the NBA, was convicted of a crime, and spent some time in prison. But as messy as the game-fixing scandal was, what if I told you that some NBA players got tangled in a federal investigation involving strippers, corruption, and a whole lot of scandal? Now, let's be honest, NBA stars aren't just athletes, they're celebrities too. These are guys that everyone looks up to, with cameras following their every move. But back in 2001, some big-name players found themselves caught up in a wild scandal centered around an infamous Atlanta hotspot, the Gold Club. Now, the Gold Club wasn't just your average strip club. It was a place for high rollers and celebrities. And its owner, Steve Kaplan, had a master plan. Keep the VIPs coming by pairing NBA players with, you guessed it, some strippers. But look, here's the twist. It wasn't just about the late-night parties and lap dances.
Federal law enforcement officials called this nightclub a criminal enterprise.
Kaplan and his crew ended up facing serious charges, including corruption, prostitution, and a web of criminal activity that had federal agents kicking down the club's doors.
It should not be here. It's not just me. You do your investigation and reveal the true nature of the Gold Club. This is not just a local, small-time strip club.
Larry Johnson, the powerhouse forward who made waves with the Charlotte Hornets and New York Knicks, was reportedly at the center of this wild saga. According to one witness, Johnson begged club owner Steve Kaplan to send a stripper to his hotel room. Yeah, that's right, begged. But Johnson wasn't alone in the mess. Patrick Ewing, a Hall of Famer, and even MLB star Andrew Jones both admitted that they enjoyed the dancers' performances. However, and here's the kicker, they insisted that no money exchanged hands. Yeah, sure. Now, in the end, it was Steve Kaplan who took the fall. The club owner coughed up a $5 million fine, and the venue was forced to shut its doors for good. However, none of the NBA players were charged with any crimes. And the NBA would definitely come to regret this decision because even after these players hung up their jerseys, they still managed to outsmart the league and keep the hustle alive. You see, after NBA players retire, they've got some pretty good benefits from the league. One of them is the NBA's Health and Welfare Benefit Plan. It basically gives them extra health insurance on top of what they already have. This program is funded by all the NBA teams. It sounds good on paper, but some players tried to cheat the system.
The 18 NBA veterans are accused of ripping off the league's health benefits plan by filing fake claims for medical procedures that never happened.
In 2021, 18 former players were caught trying to steal almost $4 million from the health plan. 16 of them were arrested, and they were charged with things like healthcare fraud and wire fraud. For example, one player claimed that he had a root canal in Beverly Hills, but he was actually playing basketball in Taiwan at the time. A few other players even claimed to have the exact same procedure done on the exact same teeth. Now, that definitely raised some eyebrows. According to the report, Terrence Williams was the leader of the whole scheme. He submitted fake invoices and claims to the health plan and pocketed around $230,000. But wait, it gets better. He even pretended to be an official from the plan, calling up other players and intimidating them into paying him a cut. By the time the dust settled, 18 players involved had swindled $2.5 million. It's insane, right? But here's where it gets even crazier. Some of these NBA stars never even went to college. Yeah, you heard that right. It all kicked off in 1995 when the Minnesota Timberwolves drafted Kevin Garnett straight out of high school. A year later, Kobe Bryant did the same, and then came LeBron James. ESPN was airing LeBron James' high school games while he was still a senior. Think about that. Everyone knew that he'd be the #1 draft pick.
He was on the cover last year of Sports Illustrated, on the cover of ESPN magazine this week, and that has all created curiosity, curiosity, curiosity. Hey, he's one of those teenage phenoms that come along in their given sport and are so gifted, like a Venus Williams, a Serena Williams, a Tiger Woods, a Kobe Bryant, an Alex Rodriguez. And all I know is if he's half as good as all I've heard about him, he is going to be one special athlete.
The NBA was one of a kind, the only major professional league that let players skip college and go straight to the pros. Not even the NFL. But a few years later, the NBA slammed on the brakes. They introduced a rule. Players had to spend at least 1 year in college before entering the league. And let me tell you, people were not happy. Critics said it was unfair, that it stripped young athletes of their right to earn a living. By 2019, the league started flirting with the idea of reversing the rule, dropping the age limit back to 18. But of course, things got messy with the players' union. The NBA wanted more access to players' medical information, and, well, let's just say the debate is still cooking. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and hit that subscribe button for more content like this.